Hello, everyone, and welcome to RDY VIP Episode 3. Joining me today, we have a very special guest host. I would like to introduce Emput.
Hey guys, Emput here. Super happy to be here with you guys and chat the day away.
I also have Ben Siegel returning as my co-host.
Hey everybody, good to see you again. Happy to be here.
I am so glad to have you both on. It's going to be an exciting episode. This is going to be our Gold Rush recap. So, in our last episode, we hung out with Jeremy to talk about setting up Gold Rush and what it was like working behind the scenes with Relentless Beats and some of Jeremy's passion of just getting out there and seeing festivals. And we thought, what a great opportunity to bring another local DJ on and to talk about their perspective in the music and getting ready for Gold Rush. And this is also a very special DJ to myself and Ben and Chris, who can't be here today, but shout out to Chris, the other of the dynamic duo for the RaveDaddy guys. Um, we all met at the DJ competition for Gold Rush that you participated in, Emput, and it was our first time, getting to kind of meet in person after all the passion that has gone into this work and all of the coordinating that went into starting RaveDaddy and RDY VIP. And then when we saw you on the Gold Rush dance card, we were like, oh man, we definitely should interview Emput. She's slated at the DJ competition, and so excited to have you on.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I mean that whole experience was awesome. Just to kind of give a little bit of a background on how I even kind of got to Gold Rush. Every year, Gold Rush, Relentless Beats, they like to put out the community on, which I absolutely love,
Hmm.
and put out a DJ competition, right? This year was actually my second try. I did put in a submission last year, but and this year I was actually selected to be in the as a finalist. I believe they picked like 12 of us, and we got to perform at the Crescent Ballroom. And it was probably one of the best shows I've ever played. It was only 15 minutes, but probably one of the best experiences, best 15 minutes of my life. And I unfortunately didn't win, but shout out to Ali Rat who did win. She deserved it. She killed it. I'm so happy for her. But I did end up getting reached out by Relentless Beats to open up for Silent Disco 4 Gold Rush. And I was just super happy to even at least given the opportunity. So that's how I kind of got there.
It was really awesome to see you at the DJ competition. I was not expecting you to come with that level of energy and that style. You totally surprised us, for sure. And what a night to remember. So that led you up to being able to go into Gold Rush, and that kind of leads us a little bit into our Gold Rush recap. But before we get to that, I would like to pass it over to Ben because Ben got a special surprise right before Gold Rush. And Ben, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. So obviously we've been working away on the app, getting things ready and doing little micro launches to get there. And so Chris and I really wanted to be able to go to Gold Rush, but just things kind of slipped away. We didn't get a chance. And then by the time we were going to look at it, a lot of tickets had been bought up, and also we kind of threw it away and said, "Oh, we knew you guys were going to be there. We were excited, and we knew we'd get good content and be able to see the cool things that you guys are doing, and just all the great shows that were there." But my wife surprised me and just bought Chris and I some tickets to go hang out and be a part of it. She knows how near and dear this community is to my heart, and just I love being out there and just with the people and just enjoying it. And it was an amazing night. We can talk more about it, but I'm still giddy off of the visuals from the Ganja White Night show. Honestly, just one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So it was a great time. My first Gold Rush, honestly, my first music festival of that size in Arizona. So
Wow.
a really good time.
That's awesome. I met a lot of people who it was their first rave ever, their first festival ever. I gave away so many candy, so many like rune stones and rave loot, even gave away a few stone totems. So it was really cool to meet so many people who were having that same experience. They were showing up and getting to buy a ticket to Gold Rush and have a great time for the first time. Input, what was your experience like as a performer? So you had the opportunity to not only go to an amazing festival, but be on stage and prep for it. And I'm sure a lot of work went into that too.
Oh yeah. I mean, I still get super, super nervous for any kind of show I do. I don't know what it is. Like I always tell people like, "Oh, I'm so nervous," but like I guess it's a good thing to still be nervous to perform. But I mean, a lot of prepping does go into each show I do. You know, I want to make sure I'm giving 110% of what I can to every single show, even if it's like, I'm opening, I'm very first slot, I know maybe not a lot of people will be there, but I always want to give my 110% to anything I put out. But the just being up there and having just that opportunity to open up the silent disco day two, it was awesome. I mean, I've never done a silent disco, so that was my first kind of experience in that kind of sense. It was awesome. The only thing I can really say is it was just so hot. It was my set was at 5, so like the sun was still up. It was probably like 120 degrees still
Mm,
out there, but once I pressed play after that first song, I like it kind of just went away and I kind of like blacked out for that hour and just kind of danced to my set and enjoyed my set. And then right as, next artist came on and, I unplugged and it all kind of just, the heat hit me and I was like, oh
mm.
my God, I need to sit down. I need water. But it was just an awesome experience. And again, I'm just super grateful that I was given that opportunity. And yeah, I got to hang out the rest of the festival and enjoy all the other great artists. So overall, I just had a blast.
That's incredible. Can you tell me, so Ben and I have had the opportunity to see you live. We know what your music's like, and anybody who attended the silent disco got that treat to heat up their night and start things off. But how would you describe yourself as an artist? How would you describe your music, and where do you connect in the community?
So I am through and through 100% a dubstep girly. I
Nice.
love dubstep, anything rhythm, anything heavy. And I think that is where is very surprising for people. And like you mentioned, I'm 5'2", 105 pounds. You don't really expect me to like go up there and play the heaviest songs I could find. And I actually did get a lot of comments like, oh, like, I thought you were gonna play, anything else, but then you threw down some like heavy bass. I was like, yeah, like I love dubstep. I love that genre. I love EDM in general. Everything I love, but
Hmm.
that's just kind of like my bread and butter. Um, and yeah, like I everything like again every set that I put together, I try to create kind of like a journey through it. Whether it's like I start off heavy, but I'll throw in like inner bloom, like a feel good song throughout
Hmm.
it, or try to kind of create a story through my sets. And right now, I'm mainly DJing. This year kind of really blew up as far as, getting my name out there, getting my name on some lineups with, bigger, well-known artists. Um, as far as like actually producing, I think that's something I'm going to start focusing more heavy on this next coming year and just kind of seeing where it takes me as far as creating my own sound through
Mm.
that. But that, as far as like the genre and what I'm putting out, I think that's what I'm gonna stick to. I love dubstep through and through. I don't think I'll ever get over it. They say, oh, the older you get, you get over it, right? But no, no, like that's I love the genre. I love it. So I think I'm gonna stick to it for a while.
Nice. I've heard that comment before too. And as somebody who feels older than I look sometimes, um, it hasn't worn out on me, but I would say your taste refine over time, right? You understand the levels of complexity, you understand the different parts of the song, and when you hear it, it starts to feel like composure, right? Like a symphony, and you're like, oh, right, this is where the drop comes in. Okay, I can hear the different layers in this song because there's so much. And we can talk about some of the artists over the weekend that inspired us as well, because I think that there was a lot of amazing music as an example of that kind of composure. Um, so you got to do right off the bat 5 p.m. Slot. What did you do after your performance? Well, other than rest from the heat.
After that, I grabbed a Wetzel pretzel because I was so hungry. No, yeah, no. After that, we grabbed a bite to eat and we went over to see YDG over at the main stage and killed it. He absolutely killed it. Hung- Walked to kind of soaked in the last day of the fest, you know. I think the heat just was just kind of overwhelming. But you know what? If you're there, you're doing what you love. You're with good friends, you know. Like that, I think that stuff's kind of like second. But I mean,
Hmm.
the rest of the fest was just it was awesome. It was so much fun. This is actually my third Gold Rush
Nice.
attending. Yes, but I think it's been probably the best. I'm not just saying that because I performed, but just overall the production, the lineup, it was awesome. I loved it.
I agree with you on that, and I'm going to ask more about your Gold Rush experience here in a second. I'm going to pass it over to Ben and give him the chance to tell us what his Gold Rush recap was and a little bit about what it was like for him. And then I'll give a little bit of my recap, and we can kind of toss some of those memories around. And then we're going to come back to Emput because I want to hear how your day one was and how later on in the evening was once you had a chance to really like dive into the crowd. So Ben, day one, Gold Rush. You finally made it.
Oh man, so many good memories. Just a jam-packed day. Real quick, I do have to give major props to Input. I wanted to say at the contest, you mentioned like the storytelling you did, and I just wanted to say like totally flowed with that. Like the whole night was amazing. There were honestly, I have just my respect for the EDM scene in Phoenix has just I don't even know the word. Just such growth on it because it's just amazing how talented the DJ scene is here, how talented the EDM scene is here. But when our 3 year set though, it was definitely one of the best in terms of like that storytelling, like the cohesiveness of it. Really loved your set. So and yeah, that was just awesome to carry that through. From wow. So for Gold Rush, I would say obviously it was really hot. Definitely like the hottest festival I've ever been to. Even at the time of the night that we were walking around, still it was like I think I remember looking down at like 9 o'clock and it was still like 106 or something like that. I was like, wow, this is crazy. But it was great. The vibe was just amazing all the way from the entry where people were checking your bags and all. Just everybody was super chill and really great. Love the entryway with the Gold Rush. Presentation they had there, the display, and then just the different stages they had. It was funny because Chris and I just walked back and forth all night, and we'd always stop over there by the van boat subwoofer thing they had, and it's just a fun place to stand. Is they had all kinds of different sets going on throughout the night, so it was really neat to just see different styles and different takeaways. I mentioned Ganja White Night. Huge anime fan. Anything animated, honestly. I love cartoons and uh, their visual displays with their music. I could have watched that for hours. It was absolutely amazing. Timmy Trumpet does so much energy off that. I've been listening to him for years, and to see him in person with all that energy was nuts. So that was amazing. Um, I actually picked up Blossom. I've never listened to Blossom before, and really just fell in love with her music. I actually jammed to it all weekend long and through the early part of this weekend. So major shout outs. If you haven't checked her out, definitely do so. But man, it was really incredible. Just big props to Relentless. It was a very well done event, and it wasn't a huge area, but it was very nicely spaced out. We even meandered into the silent disco. You weren't there, but I'm not sure which DJ it was when we were in there, but it was definitely a very cool space that they had, and so yeah, it was just a lot of fun. Very, very well done.
It was incredible. I couldn't agree more. The heat didn't bother me. I think part of it is because I sauna all the time, and so I'm just used to it. But I love it. I think it definitely makes you feel alive. You have to be wanting to be there, and there's a little dedication to like brave that heat and go out there in that festival. But mad props to the crowd. So like I've been to a bunch of these festivals now, and I've been to a lot of the concerts both at the Raceway and at Rawhide and locally. And some of them can get really crowded and some of them can get really hot. I mean, like John Summit and Millennium over the summer were insanely hot. Like hot, hot. Like Gold Rush was mild compared to the spiciness the sun was bringing for those concerts. And the venues and how they were set up at Rawhide were also really jam-packed, really close crowds. And so everybody was like this, a lot of it. And as you get further back, there's more space, but the bottleneck it creates up front as it like fans out does not leave a lot of room when you try to push in and everybody's trying to push in. But the Gold Rush crowd, man, I'm walking around and people aren't just fanning themselves, but they're fanning everybody around them. People with misters walking through the crowd, just misting people because they're bringing joy, right? I saw a lot of people like, just giving away water bottles. Hey, are you okay? Have you been drinking water? Let me give you a bottle of water. And like that, what festival water's not cheap, you know? And if you're only allowed to bring in two per person, that might have been somebody's one of their two water bottles that they give away. So that is like big heart energy. And so I had just an absolute blast in being able to be part of those crowds. Everywhere we went, people were giving a lot of space and then we were trading trinkets and the my big day one headliner for me was Ganja White Night. Alesso was amazing, Sullivan King awesome. It was cool that Nielsen was opening up on main stage. There's a lot of great names to go around, but I have waited forever to see. As a matter of fact, so I got this Ganja White Night jersey.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for me, it didn't show up in time for Gold Rush. It showed
Oh,
up the
that's
day after. I was like, come on, where were
terrible. Yeah.
you? And it happens, right? But I go into the event with no expectations other than I just really want to see Ganja and I'm really excited for that. And if everything else works out, great. And getting to go see them live is everything I could have wanted and more. They played hit after hit. The only break they gave you in between songs was to shout out the other DJs they collabed with. They're like, "Do you like Wooly?" Boom, and then they hit you with it. "Do you like LS Dream?" Boom, and then they hit you with it, and you're just like in, EDM heaven the whole time. So their sets were incredible, and the crowd was super nice. Again, just everybody was like letting people pass, and so super hyped for that. Alesso's visuals were out of this world, just super cool to see like all of the commitment to keying in the music, plus the pyrotechnics, plus the visuals, plus the cannons. It's a production worthy of Vegas, and we get it here in Arizona. And
Just
so,
just to add to that, I think
mhm,
Arizona ravers, just in general, like we are built different.
we are. Oh
Like
yeah,
we are so used to like just raving, in the heat, like throw back to rawhide, in the dirt. But we still keep that sense of like love and flair and taking care of each other and like just we don't let the
definitely.
heat get to us. So shout out to us.
It is not how we are in our traffic, though, right? Like
Absolutely
even
not. No, absolutely not. Out the
pulling in
window.
or pulling out of the parking lot, good
Yeah.
luck. You're on your own. Plur is out the
Yeah.
window. It's survival
Blurs
mode
out the
only.
window.
Uh, but
Exactly.
once you in their festival grounds, we're completely different, you know,
Right, right.
for the most part. There's still a few of us. You know who you are.
Yeah.
So, that was my day one, Ben's day one. Input, do you have any other recap you want to mention for your day one?
Day one. Oh my gosh. So day one, I didn't have the pre-show jitters because I was like, oh, it's till tomorrow. My set's till tomorrow. So I really got to really enjoy day one. Let's see. Was it? Who was one of my? I think one of my favorite sets I would have to say was Timmy Trumpet. Believe it or not,
Oh,
it was
snap.
one of my first. Yeah, so I know completely different from my taste, right? But like I know he's been in the game for several years, and it was actually one of my first time ever actually seeing him perform.
Mm-hmm.
And just like listening to his set from like a DJ's perspective, he threw in so many different types of genres in his one set. Like you didn't know what to expect from him. And I absolutely loved that. Like it was very refreshing. And again, the energy he brought, the crowd's reaction, like I absolutely loved it. Probably one of my favorite sets from that day one.
Oh, it's definitely a great set. And, Ben had mentioned the level of energy that he brought and hearing the trumpet live, right? Like it
Oh
just
yeah.
echoes across the entire festival grounds. It was nuts.
There's something about like live instruments during a set, it just hits different. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's just awesome to see and hear. So
Chris and I talked about that for a bit afterwards. Just that when you think of EDM, you don't think of trumpets, and yet it works so well. And he has brought it in, and it could so easily be a shtick. It could be like a side kind of thing, but it's not. It's so good, and it draws you in, and it's fun. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, my first time seeing him live, and yeah, it was very like definitely. I was shocked at how good it was, to be honest.
It was so much fun. I feel like from beginning to end, it was great. It was great. You could tell like he loves what he does, and being in the game for so long, like he's not tired of it. And I'm pretty sure he's just gonna continue to keep doing it for years and years. So that was really just cool to see, just the passion of it.
Most definitely. I think that's one of the things that you brought up a little bit in your first comment and then really echo here is just being able to see it from different artists' perspectives and what they're going to bring to the table and, how that inspires us.
Going to go with Sound Holo set was so
Nice.
beautiful. It was okay. I've never seen him either. Like there was a lot of first times for me this festival, which is awesome.
Hmm.
Like it's like I'm always like even like going like when I go to EDC like bass pod, bass pod. But like I these next like few festivals I really want to go and experience new genres, new artists I've
Hmm.
never seen before, and I've never seen San Ho. That was my first time seeing him, and oh my god, like watching and listening to his set, I was like, this is why I'm still raving at 29 years old. Like
Hmm.
this is just so beautiful. Like I loved it. I loved him. He's gained a new fan. That was probably like one of my moments. I was like, oh yeah, like this is why I love what I do.
Absolutely. Beautiful music, beautiful visuals. What a great set.
Yeah.
Um, so we talked a little bit about day one. Ben was recovering on day two, and so it didn't get the opportunity to experience it. What were some of your day two highlights?
My day two highlights. Let's see. I gotta say, Slander. They put the cherry on top of the last night, the last day, and
Hmm.
they're probably like one of my OG's favorites. Like I've seen Slander since I've loved them, seen them so many times, and every set's always a breath of fresh air. It's always different. It's always new. You never really know also what to expect from them. But just seeing them and the energy they brought, it it was a great way to end Gold Rush. Probably one of my favorite moments as well from at least day two.
Awesome. I love Slander as well. Like, what a
Yeah.
great library of music, great catalog of
Oh yeah.
music. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see Slander this time, but I saw them at Decadence on day two as part of the, New Year's Eve wind up. And so I hadn't seen Enzo yet. And Enzo is doing a back-to-back with Mersive, and Enzo is one of my top three favorite artists on the planet. Like, I just love all of the.
How was that? Because I went for Slander. I saw their whole entire set, but after that, I kind of saw like a lot of posts of their back to back, and I was like,
Mhm.
dang, like maybe I should have gone to see that back to back. I just heard it was awesome.
So there's a few things that I have that were takeaways. First off, like Enzo is just incredible live. Like all of his songs, like Overthinker and
Oh yeah,
Angst and, Rain Cloud. You think how's this going to be live? Is it just going to be trancey? But he mixed a lot of his music with other things like Does That Make Me Crazy over top of
Yeah.
Overthinker, right? And so
Real,
you're
I think I did see a video of that. Yeah.
it was really good and things you don't expect unless you go to the live show. But I cried several times during the performance because this music just touches me. The visuals were great. Immersive brought its hard, and so it was a really nice duality of like the kind of dreaminess of Enzo and like being in this like elative high of, the music that it brings, and then jumping off a cliff and going skydiving and pure adrenaline mode, and you're just like, yeah. And then they bring you right back in for a smooth landing and take off again, and you just do this the whole set. And so that was a really just amazing roller coaster ride. And then shout out to Enzo's crowd. So I mean, no surprise that it's a bunch of like, wooks and hippies and just the chillest people you're gonna find. But that crowd was just amazing. People were all giving hugs, and like the guy next to me saw me crying, to the set, and he came over to me and he puts his arm around me and he's like, "We're all just plants on the galaxy, man." And I was like, "Yes, we are. Yes, we are, right?"
I love that. That is so awesome.
And, there were people in there misting and giving out trinkets, and we made it to the rail, and being like, arm's reach away from your favorite artist is its own vibe. Um, But the whole day was great. Black Tiger Sex Machine came on earlier, and that was I had also seen them at Decadence, and they're incredible. Their anime show was really good. They added to it, so it was cool to see that. And talk about like heavy, blow your face off, dubstep, right? But they played a
Yeah.
lot of their hits. They did a lot of good mixing. They had some like trap and some, hip hop in there as well. So that set was, just great.
I know
And
Ben mentioned he liked the anime and all that. Oh, he would have loved BTSM
oh
set. They
yeah.
they have all kinds of anime throughout their whole show.
That that was the one I was so sad I didn't get to see. I was really hoping to get there the second night, but it didn't happen. But yeah, that I definitely on my bucket list for the next time.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
They're anime shows you can find online, but it doesn't do it justice to seeing live. And so it was another crowd that was super awesome too, because at first we were trying to push in, and I was like, "There's no way, there's no way," and my wife was just like, keep going," and eventually we made it to the front, and people made space, and that was kind of the story all weekend. Was like, wherever you make it, people are gonna make space for you. Like people just had the good
Right.
vibes. Um,
Right.
I think I just got to say real quick, like that is from what Input's saying, what you just said. Uh, that's so much of this whole space. Like it is a safe space, and it's people think of EDM, they think of raves, they think of this high energy, and it's all just bam, 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 and that's only a small segment of it. Like so much of this is just like no, it's whatever you need it to be. You can just be whoever you are. You can listen to any genre. You can whatever it is. We're all friends in this area. Like this is, and it was amazing to be a Gold Rush because they had like all the genres represented. There was so many chill down vibes, and then a lot more orchestrated. But and to the point where Input was talking about like being 29. I'm a little bit older than 29. I'm not going to say how old, but and I'm still doing it. And I honest to God hope I do this till I'm 80 or 90. Like
mm.
I love this whole scene, and it is the way that people talk about church and the spirituality and where they find peace. Like this is where I find my peace. I love the vulnerability and the love that people put out at these type of events. It's just amazing. Chris and I had several people walk up to us just to ask for help, and I don't know if it was the capybara t-shirts or what it was about us, but it's just amazing because people don't do that often. You don't have people just come up and ask for help, and I love that because it's such a beautiful thing. So I was just checking. One of my favorite DJs is going to be at Super Unnatural, Fatboy Slim. I've been listening to him for a
Hmm.
long time, and he's way past what anybody would ever think of as far as on age to rave or EDM. And I just think that says it all. Like it's the way you approach life, and it's the energy you have, and may we all have it.
I totally
Absolutely.
feel that.
Can't agree. Yeah.
Well, before we roll into a little bit more about Input, who is our VIP for the episode, Input, do you have any, takeaways from Gold Rush? Any kind of final thoughts about it, or anything that you didn't get the opportunity to say that you would like to?
I mean, Gold Rush this year overall was amazing. Um, shout out to Relentless Beats. They did
Hmm.
amazing to the stages, to the production, to the lineups, to just the overall experience. Being one of my first festivals performing, it's always gonna have a special place in my heart. But I really can't complain. I really can't add to anything. Just the entire weekend was just a dream, and it's just a memory I'm always gonna keep with me forever. Whether I stay in this or I don't or whatever, you never know. But yeah, I had a blast. I'm sure a lot of people did, and definitely gonna keep it in my heart for a long time.
That's awesome. I feel the same way. Relentless Beats did a amazing job putting on the performance. It's my second Gold Rush, and so I was, even more pleased this time. I had an amazing time. So for me, it's probably my favorite of the two. Not to shade on 23 at all, because Alice in Wonderland and Tiesto were just fire. But this year was just really special for me. And I'm my final Gold Rush recap here is a funny story, and then we'll move on. So while we were in the crowd on day one during Ganja, one thing that my wife and I do is we just meet everybody around us. We have trinkets. I give away rune stones that are on crystals, and then I tell people's story about them and about fate and a little bit about the Viking history. And she gives out squishies and candy and fortune cookies, and fortune cookies have cool fortunes in them and stuff. And so as we were meeting people in the crowd, one of the people we met has the same name as my youngest daughter, Anastasia, and she looked enough like her that it could have also been my daughter. And so for a brief second, I made a joke. I was like, are you a time traveler? Are you actually her? Come back from the future to hang out with your parents? You heard this was the best weekend of our lives, right? And so you wanted to, like, I remember they said Gold Rush 24 was the one. If I could go to anyone, I'm gonna time travel there, right? And so this funny story played out in my head of like, what if my daughter did come back in time, and then I got to meet her in a crowd, and like, what would that be like, both as a raver and a dad, and how would I feel about it, and would I be proud? And I was like, yeah, like the music's great, the vibes are great. Like if my daughter came back from the future and this was the festival she went to, like good pick. Quality choice pick on that one. And
That
so
should be a movie. That is awesome. You should write a movie.
I said the same thing. So as a script writer, I was like, I'm making this into a movie, like the time traveling daughter or something like that.
That's
And so
adorable.
it's it's a cool, idea, cool thought. What if I met a time traveler at a festival? But I think it also speaks to the interesting headspace that you get in when you go to a festival and the music's going and you're meeting new people and you feel like anything is possible, right? You feel like the world is all happening all at once. And so that was my fun special takeaway, was that I met a time traveler who was most likely, I'm going to stand by most likely, my daughter from the future who's figured out time travel, and that's why she came back.
That is awesome. I'm gonna say it was her. We're gonna stick to that.
We're going to stick to that story, definitely.
Yeah, that's
Um,
awesome.
and so I think, lots of fun to think about for Gold Rush. It's sad that it's in the past. We have more coming up in the future. I know Decadence is right around the corner. I'm so pumped for that. I'm looking down the barrel of maybe going to Dusk as well because, man, like Steve Aoki and Cascade, are you kidding me? And
I
so
know. That
what's,
Decadence lineup is my dream lineup. Like,
woo,
I'm huge Excision fan. Dead
yes.
Mouse is like, I love you, Joel. Like, I'm going to that. I don't care. It's gonna be so much fun. I'm so excited for what's to come.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Who are you most excited? Like, give me your top five off the Decadence lineup. Who are
Oh
you
my gosh.
really excited
Let
to see?
let me pull that up because in my brain right now, I'm like Excision, of course,
Hmm.
and Dead Mouse.
Definitely.
Uh, oh, John Summit. Like
Okay.
I
See him
I just
again.
seen John Summit. I just saw him, but his performance, his show was so amazing, so beautiful. Like I loved it. I want to relive
Mm-hmm.
that moment. And when they came out with that last announcement of him, I think he's doing the countdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my gosh, like I have to be there. Um, what else? I think I need to look at it again because those are like the ones that have been just kind of like
Mm.
engraved in my head right now that like this is who I'm gonna go see.
Well, you can think
Oh,
about it first. Oh, go ahead.
oh, sorry, Dioro, one of my favorites.
Yes, nice, good
Definitely a
choice.
party vibe. Uh, just Junior back to back nostalgics. That's gonna be fun too. I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to that.
Skix.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So I think that's gonna be my top five. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Ben, you got it pulled up?
Yeah, I do. So I shared with you guys the other day. So we have a RaveDaddy team chat on Instagram where we share music and all with each other. And so one of my all-time favorite EDM songs, honestly, kind of one of the songs I want like played as I'm being buried in the ground. But it's Massive Attack's Paradise Circus, but it's the
Okay,
Zed's Dead remix.
nice.
It is that song has hit me for God, what has it been now? 10 years or so. And to see Zed's Dead on this list, Troy Boy, Wooly, those three alone would be worth it. But this whole list is, yeah. I'll probably be at Decadence, even though it's like, oh, I'm done with festivals for the year.
Hmm.
Nah.
Are you? That's next year. That's New Year. That's a whole nother year.
As ravers, we always say that, and that just never happens.
Never.
And like you said, Input, like Dead Mouse, I love Dead Mouse, and yeah, I've never actually seen him live, and I would absolutely love to.
Oh,
So that'd be amazing.
you have to. He is amazing, 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 amazing. Love him.
Yeah, Dead Mouse is definitely really high up on that list for me. I haven't seen Dead Mouse, but I love a lot of the music that, especially the collabs with Cascade, Primo. Um,
K5, yep.
yep,
Okay,
K5.
I gotta get one. I gotta put a pitch out there real quick because nobody knows about this album, at least that I talk to usually. Cascade did a Christmas music album. And if you
Hmm.
enjoy Christmas music, it's the best freaking Christmas music album of all time. I listen to it every year. It came out like in 2017 or something, like if I remember right, 2018. Amazing album. So, and it's just about that time. So,
There you go, Input. Now you know what you're going to be playing for Christmas sets.
I know. I'm gonna put down a Christmas set, Cascade. Let's
Nice.
go.
Um, so I'm super excited for Wooly. Wooly just goes really hard. A lot of amazing collabs. That
Absolutely.
one's really high on my list. Got to see Troy Boy for Rez, right? So it was like Troy Boy, Rusco, Rez, and what a fire lineup that was. I hadn't seen Troy Boy live, but loved a lot of his music. But seeing him live was incredible. Like the guy is a mixed master, and his sets are hypnotic, and he has such a range and variety that, 1 minute you're dancing and the next minute you're headbanging. It's
Oh yeah.
the musicality from Troy Boy's insane. Zed's Dead definitely super high on that list. Excision super high on that list. So like my top five is easy. I would also definitely put Nostalgics in there. Her back to back, I'm really excited. I saw her at the Sun Bar and was like fingertip distance, from
That's awesome.
Nostalgics, and it was just so good. Like she has a lot of vibe, right? That's just different. It's very empowering and it kind of borderlines its own style. So, um, yeah, for sure. But enough about
Amazing.
decadence. What's next for Input? What is your, dance card look like? Are you playing any more festivals or shows this year? Do you have, like you going into the lab? Is it time to start, grinding on the songs?
So I do have some surprises coming up. Definitely before 2024 ends. I have probably one or two shows that are set. Um, Fingers crossed on maybe any New Year's events. So to be determined. Again, this year has just been unbelievable. Like I am still kind of like not believing that I've have been able to see my name next to, some of my
Hmm.
favorite artists, some of these festivals that I have been going to since forever, is still kind of crazy to me. I'm still kind of in shock. Um, I definitely want to end this year with a bang. Um, Next year, I definitely do want to kind of hunker down and really focus on the production aspect of things. I think this year I really was wanting to focus on comfortable with performing, being comfortable with being out in front of crowds, bringing that vibe. Um, I like to think of myself as like an introverted extrovert. Like I can be very shy, I can be, very to myself, but at the same time, like I love dance music. I love what I do so much that it really brings out another side of me that, can be, extroverted, can be, bring that kind of excitement and outgoingness of things. But yeah, just kind of a lot of things in the works, some surprises coming end of the year, and we'll see where 2025 takes us.
What a great cap on an amazing episode. Input, thank you so much for all of that. We always like to give people the opportunity for parting shots and, to, say a little bit about either themselves or their mission or what they're most excited about, or even just their thank yous and shout outs. So I would like to turn over the floor to you and allow you those parting shots. Anything else you'd like to say here on Ready VIP as our VIP guest?
Absolutely. A big message that I want to push and something that I feel very strongly about is you can do whatever you set your heart out to do. It doesn't matter, you know, your gender, it doesn't matter stereotype, it doesn't matter where you come from, who you are. Um, if you have a dream, if you have a passion, if you have any goal, it doesn't have to be big or small. If you are comfortable with being uncomfortable and putting yourself out there and having enough of like that drive to go for it or just improve in something or improve a skill or whatever it is, you can do it. You can do it. Don't let anybody tell you you can't because you look a certain way or you don't fit a certain stereotype. You are you and you can do whatever you set your mind to.
Beautifully said. Well, Ben, do you have anything you'd like to say as our host of Ready VIP, as our resident?
I'll just go with a hell yeah and a ditto to what Input just said. No, I couldn't have said it better myself. So thank you, Input, for all the amazing music, and thank you for being a guest today. And thank you, Manuel, for leading the talk. So the hosting here.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Jinx.
You owe me a Coke. Were you drinking a Coke right now?
No, I'm actually drinking an EDC Ghost
Oh,
for the
I
2024 Electric Limeade. But you are drinking a Coke. What are the odds?
Wait a minute, there's an EDC specific ghost?
Oh yes. Oh yes, I collect them. In fact, I have a whole case.
I missed that one.
Electric Limeade. I'm a big Ghost fan. I like their like no dies policy, and I don't want to sit here and be a commercial for them. But when they were like, we're coming out with EDC cans, I was like, oh, are you? That's delightful. I'll take 10 cases, right? Shut up and take my money. So, what a great episode. It's been a blast to have you on Input. Thank you so much for being our VIP for our third episode for Ready VIP. Um, if you haven't already, go to our Instagram, go to our Facebook page, follow RaveDaddy. It is your companion, it is your best friend. It is going to help you at festivals, connect to people. It's going to help you potentially save people and look out for each other and bring that same connectivity and plur to everywhere you go. Plus, you get to put your rave name in, and who doesn't want to make a rave name, right? I guess
just
DJs
want to
already have
say
one.
I love that. That is the best thing ever. Like what you guys are doing is so cool, so helpful. Like, God, being in the scene for 10 years, like, I wish I had this app 10 years ago.
Oh my gosh. How many times during the weekend are you like, I've got to go to the bathroom, but I don't want to leave my crew. I want to go get tacos, but I don't want to leave my crew. I just saw somebody and I want to talk to them, but if my friends are going this way and I'm going that way, I've lost them, right? And even just being able to see where people are in case they do need help is a huge, because if your friend went down in a crowd and you didn't know about it, you'd be really sad. But if they went down and you were able to find them, it would make all the difference. And so it's needed. And I'm glad you see the value in it, Input. And Ben, thank you for all of your hard work on it. Go download the app. It's still in beta right now, but it is coming quickly, and you'll be able to try it real soon.
Awesome.
So, as a tradition, we always like to give our guests the opportunity to say roll the music before we roll into our outro. But I think it's funny when people try to say it all together live. So, we're all going to team up on this one, a trifecta of hilarity. On three, here we go. We're going to say roll the music. 3, 2, 1.
Roll the
Roll
music.
the music. Oh, we nailed it. Look at us, superstars.